guys? Welcome back. Dynasty Football Live here today. We're going to continue with our divisional rankings where we see these guys stacking up. We're going to go ahead and bring you a little bit of a tough one today because this one's kind of like up in the air. I think most of you would agree. NFC South. The NFC South is here. There's some new faces. There's a lot of new rookies here. A lot of good sophomores in this crop. But guys, we are gonna start at the bottom here as always. And Manny, who do you have at the bottom of the NFC South?
Yeah, as Byron was saying, this is going to be a tough one. Last year, the Bucks won the division with an 8-9 record, and then everyone else in the division was 7-10. So this is probably the closest division, even though some things did change, as Byron said. It's going to be kind of tough. I think for me, the Bucks go from first to last, which, considering how close they were, it's not a big leap, especially after losing Brady. For a while there, it looked like Baker Mayfield was going to be the guy for the Browns, and that kind of fell apart, especially with all OBJ controversy situation. But a lot of new faces in key positions. Obviously, Mayfield one of them. We don't know if it's going to be Baker or Trask, I don't think, as of right now. Rashad White looks like it's going to be the starter for Nets no longer there. So that's kind of even though he did kind of break out last year, it'll be interesting to see how he does, considering, Brady's not back there with him. I'm sure that made things a lot easier for him, the threat of Brady. They still have good receivers. They drafted a couple of good young guys who could be key contributors. Yeah. But the top three are kind of solidified with Goodwin, Evans, and Gage. Gage is good, but, last year he was kind of rough. I think, personally, I was kind of disappointed he decided to go to the Bucks in the offseason, considering, they had Mike Evans and Godwin. But yeah, they also have Trey Palmer and Raheem Jarrett, who I actually like both of those guys. Tight end position is kind of interesting. Auden, if that's how you say it, is kind of had a good year last year. But I think, being the question at running back, potentially, not running back necessarily, just, how he'll do without Brady there. And a good passing game potentially. But yeah, the defense is still pretty strong, even though they did lose some key guys. They still have Shaquille Barrett, who is dominant in that playoff run. He is 30 though, so we'll see what happens there. They drafted Kancey in the first round, I believe. So that's kind of see what happens. See if he kind of lives up to the hype there. They somehow were able to keep David and White, which, there was some question. I think there was a request by Devin White to be traded, I believe, and somehow they got that figured out. Winfield is a, extremely good safety, young safety out of Minnesota. So just a lot of questions. Even though a lot of the big names are kind of still there, when you have a quarterback who basically got traded for nothing to the Panthers, and then, now I don't know. Yeah, Bucks are last. That's it. I don't have any more to say. I don't know. I was going to think of something nice to say, but no, the Bucks are last.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the Bucks are in that Caleb Williams sweepstakes this year. That's what I think. However, I think it's going to be closer than people think here at the bottom of this division. I think I have the Bucks last, so I'm going to move ahead to my third place team in this division, which is going to be, man, and it could go either way here. It's really tough and really tight. I'm going to say Falcons. I am not a believer in Desmond Ridder. I am a believer, however, in that entire offense. I think that offense is built for the future. I just don't think they've found the niche there, who they really can say we truly. I know they're chirping over there like, oh, we got Desmond Ritter's back and all this, but bro, I ain't believing that shit. I'm sorry. Desmond Ritter is a decent quarterback. We're gonna find out who he really is. I'm not gonna talk too much on Desmond Ritter or down about him that much, but hey, you're gonna have to show me what you got, because now you got a lot of weapons there, man. You got Pitts, you got Drake London, you got freaking Bijan Robinson there with Algier. They beefed up their defense a little bit. I don't think they're bad, and like I said, I think that they will be able to fight for second in this division, but I don't think Ritter is better than Derek Carr. So that's where I got him at right now. I got Ritter improving, but not that much. And, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So I got the Falcons in third.
Actually, I got the third. And for me, and even though they have kind of a better supporting cast for Bryce Young, and I do like Bryce Young a lot, he is still a rookie. I'm not saying, he's going to suck by any means. I think he's going to have a good rookie year, but I don't think I've ever seen a rookie just come out of the gate and just dominate, or at least not very often. So I think there's going to be some growing pains there.
Yeah.
Even though he does. I'm sorry?
No, I agree. Yeah,
so even though that, a really good squad around him and a good support system with Dalton there as his backup, and obviously the head coach is also kind of or not his head coach, but the quarterback coach, I think, this McCown. Anyways, he's definitely got a lot of support system. He definitely from the coaching staff and the players and the skill positions. But I just think it's going to be some growing pains. And based on what Atlanta did last year, which obviously most of that was with Mariota, when Ritter came in, it didn't quite drop off. There wasn't like that much of a drop off. That doesn't say much, I know. But I think for me, Panthers are going to be third, and Falcons are going to continue to kind of move up. I mean, last year they finished. What was it? They finished third last year, or fourth last year, rather. But they were 7-10, so they were just a win away from jumping or tying the Bucks. So, Panthers are third.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, man, I have a hard time believing Ritter. I'm not gonna jinx it, because as soon as I say that about somebody, they're gonna blow up and beat somebody. So we'll see. The jury's out. So who you? I guess I'll go to, or you'll go to the second place team. Who you got as your second place team?
I got the Falcons second. And, I think when you look at their offense, and I know Ritter's the question, last year their running attack was elite. They were probably one of the, if not the best, definitely top 2, top 5. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know they were definitely within the top 5 rushing attacks last year. And they didn't have Bijan. They have Algier, Patterson. Both of them are back. Now they add Bijan. Yeah. London kind of got his feet wet with the NFL. Pitt is back from injury. Hopefully he takes a leap in year 3, and London continues to progress like he's doing. And maybe Ritter is, I'm not saying he's going to be lights out or the guy, but considering their strength of the team was running the ball, and the fact that they did it so well, they don't really need Ritter to be throwing for 300, 400 yards, 50 times or whatever, unless they're losing, obviously. They'll be forced to do that. Mm-hmm. But with a team that can control the ball by running it so well, I think the big key is going to be the defense. How good, how much they've got better, because they had a chance to get a really good defensive player and they didn't. And there were definitely some holes, and I know they got some guys in free agency, but especially with Bates in the secondary. But man, I like the Falcons at number 2. for sure.
Hey man, your rankings, and you have your opinions. I have mine. I don't think you're far off there. I think it could flip flop here with the Saints.
Sure.
The only really concern that I have is not just Ritter; it's the lack of wide receiver depth behind Drake London. I mean, Matt Collins, all right, and then who else? I mean, who else is a sophomore who really didn't impress at quarterback going to pass the ball to besides Kyle Pitts and Drake London?
Yeah.
That's where it's kind of
Well, they do have Scotty Miller. I mean, he could be something. I don't know. He did
it
play
seems
well
like
and limited.
yeah, it seems like they're scraping the barrel on people there at wide receiver behind Drake London. And
Yeah.
for me, if I don't see depth for a quarterback who really hasn't proven anything as far as his targets go, I can't really invest a lot in that. You know what I mean? Like I just it's not something I normally do. I love their depth everywhere else, especially running back. But for me, it's going to be the New Saints as the runner up here in the NFC South. A lot of people are going to be like, wow, you're picking a rookie quarterback to win this division. It's not just a rookie quarterback that I'm looking at. It's the whole roster with the Panthers that I'm looking at there. So let me get to the New Orleans Saints here. New Orleans Saints have a lot of veteran leadership. Okay, they've got a lot of veteran leadership. You're looking at these two teams down here. One has no. They're probably aiming for the draft this year, being the Buccaneers. Falcons are rebuilding. They're going to go through a little bit more growing pains before they can jump up and compete. I think it's going to be close. And I'm not saying that they won't finish second, but I'm saying they got a lot to prove to me before I put them in second in this division. Right now, I'm Derek Carr, Michael Thomas, and Chris Olave, plus that defense to get the job done in second place here. Alvin Kamara, you just added Jamal Williams, who led the league last year in touchdowns. I mean, they don't have a bad offense. A.T. Perry's coming in there. I think he's going to make some noise. Rashid Shaheed, he kind of had some breakouts last year. Really slept on wide receiver right there. If you guys want to go get a little buy low guy that could blow up this year, that guy Rashid was making some plays last year. Jawan Johnson came up at tight end for them last year. Not bad. So I'm thinking that's good enough with that defense to finish second in the division. I think what really hampered the New Orleans Saints last year was no identity at quarterback. And I think that they went and improved their quarterback situation. So Derek Carr is there for me getting second in this division.
All right. Go ahead and get started with the winner of the division for me at least. And I'm going to go with the Saints. I mean, you said a lot already, but I'm going to kind of add on a little bit. I think the depth they have at the running back, no Kamara, there's a lot of questions whether he still has it. The energy that Jamal Williams is going to bring into that offense, that team in general. Kendra Miller was really, really good last year at TCU. Obviously, Olave broke out. Michael Thomas, they're finally getting him back, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. But last time he played, he was pretty elite. I'm not saying that's going to, he's going to be the same Mike Thomas, rather. But there's a chance there, potentially. Like you said about Shaheed. Very, very good last year. And A.T. Perry, I think it's extremely underrated. I was shocked. That he fell so far in the draft. And they have fifth right now listed, at least in this depth chart, Traquan Smith, who, for a while there, it looked like he was the only thing slowing him down were injuries, but he just hasn't been able to put it together. And let's not forget Brian Edwards. I think Derek Carr has a lot of weapons. The receiving room, the running back room, and even tight end is quite deep.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
I mean,
Taysom
you gotta
Hill.
watch that cat because he'll have big games, man. Taysom Hill always balls out, bro. I don't know how he does it. He's just like he's like a Swiss Army knife of all Swiss Army knives, bro. He is what Tim Tebow should have been in the NFL.
I just wish they, I wish he was, not that he was more consistent. I wish they used him in a different way, uh, to give him the ball a little more. Like he's kind of, very hot and cold. Like he'll have a game where he has 3 touchdowns and then he'll have a game where he doesn't touch the ball.
Yeah.
So I wish they would use him a little more because he is a weapon. I didn't realize he was 32 already. That's kind of crazy. But
they gave him
anyway,
a big contract too, bro. Like $100
yeah.
million contract. Something crazy.
But yeah, I think Derek Carr with those weapons is definitely an upgrade, and I think is better. He has a lot of experience, and I think that's going to help that offense kind of be a little more consistent. The Saints' defense time has been very, very good. Not necessarily top end defense, but definitely consistent in their performance. Cameron Jordan is elite at defensive end. They got a steal on Brian Breezy later in the first round. This year's draft, I think Pete Werner was. I really, really like him, and Demario Davis is kind of underrated. Kind of came out of nowhere a little bit, and then just kind of solidified himself as one of the top linebackers in the NFL. And let's not forget the Honey Badger, who's still ball hawking and just all over the place and just always at the right place at the right time, along with Marshawn Lattimore. So I think their defense is going to be solid. I think going to give them that consistency at the quarterback position that they lacked last year, going between Dalton and Winston, and that experiment kind of failed. So for me, I think, and it was a close division last year. It probably will be this year again. But I have the Saints going for. I'm not saying they're going to go far in the playoffs by any means. I'm not that much of a believer, but I do think that they're going to be first in this division.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's going to be right there, man. I think it's going to be a battle all the way through the season for this division. However, I have the number 1 pick taking the Panthers back to prominence. I'm not going to say it's impossible because Bryce Young was taken number 1 overall for a reason. He does look like a little kid out there right now, but I think when the games start, people are gonna shut up about that shit because this cat's gonna come out and ball out just like he did at Alabama. I think I think he's gonna be one that people understood why he got took number 1 overall. Let's start there. Bryce Young at quarterback. Then we go to the newly acquired, rejuvenated, had a breakout year last year with the Eagles, Miles Sanders. They added him, so they got them a pretty good running back there, man. Chuba Hubbard backing him up. Lots of this and that behind Chuba Hubbard. I'll say Blackshear maybe, but, we'll move on to the real reason they're going to be division winners, and that's this wide receiver group. DJ Chark, Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo, Terrace Marshall Jr., Laviska Shenault, Shi Smith. I mean, all the way down. They're loaded at wide receiver, dude. Loaded at wide receiver. A very, very, very nice group. And this is after they let DJ Moore walk. So that's just, to me, that's insane. Got Hayden Hurst there at tight end. Not too much behind him that I'm impressed with. But really, I think what is going to bring this team into contention is that they got a slept-on defense. You talk about how the New Orleans Saints had a good defense. Well, you talk about Derek Brown. You talk about Burns. You talk about Horn. You got some ballers over there on the other side of that defense, dude. They're good. So for me, I think Carolina is going to take this division. It's going to be very close. Might come down to the last couple of games of the season. It's not one of the stronger divisions in the NFL. That's why we're struggling here, but we try to squeak it out. I'm going to do a surprise here and put the rookie, bringing in the NFC South crown here for the Panthers and rewarding them for picking him at number 1.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be really, really close. And I would not be surprised if the Panthers are definitely at the top. I think the two could flip flop for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's all I got. I mean, I think this is a pretty tough division, but hopefully we are right, or one of
Hey
us is
guys.
agree.
Yeah, hey, and just because we have bold predictions don't mean that we don't know what we're talking about. We try to break it down as much as we can to where it makes sense to you guys, to where, we're not just following the script of, other channels. We like to be bold, we like to stand out, we like to be different. So, just because our thoughts don't line up with everyone else's, hey guys, that's why they're called bold predictions. They're called hot takes, is because everybody wants to, go their own path, say
Yeah.
that what they say what they believe in their hearts, and that's what we look for here at Dynasty Football Live. So, guys, as always, like, subscribe, and Dynasty Football out, baby.